Happy Thursday morning to you folks. Ryan Rishaug here in the Sherwood Park Got Your Back studios, bringing you this Thursday early morning Got Your Back short shift. Edmonton Oilers in action tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes. Tough test for the Oil tonight. Yeah, this team is for real. 3-0 on their way in. Today on the short shift, going to check in with Oiler defenseman Evan Bouchard. Had the chance to chat with him a little bit in the locker room yesterday after their practice. Is it just me, or is he a little more nasty? Well, not nasty. A little more surly this year. A little more bite in his game. Seems to be throwing more hits, pushing back a little bit. I think that's a good sign in Evan Bouchard's game. It hasn't been a perfect start to the year. We'll dig into all that in a minute, and we'll preview the Oilers of the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. A reminder that these Got Your Back short shifts are brought to you by Mid-City Construction Management. They're a locally owned family company specializing in civil construction projects for over 40 years. From roadways to excavation, underground utilities, paving, and concrete, they've played a major role in the infrastructure of Edmonton and surrounding areas since 1980. And right now, they're hiring. If you're between jobs, looking for a change, looking for work, all different levels of qualifications they're looking for. Equipment operators, groundspeople, concrete workers, snow removal, full and part-time positions are available, and there's lots of room for growth and advancement with Dan and the crew at this family company. Go to a full list, for a full list of everything they have open, go to mid-city.ca, that's mid-city.ca, and click Apply Now. Mid-City Construction Management, proud to have them as title sponsors here on Got Your Back Short Shifts. Okay, big test for the Oilers tonight. The Carolina Hurricanes are rolling into town. The 3-0 Carolina Hurricanes against an Oiler team that's won just one of its first three games. Let's add a little bit of perspective, though, to that record for the Hurricanes. Started the year with a 4-1 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's a team that they should beat, and they did. So they took care of their business. Next game, 2-1 win over the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks are definitely a team that they should beat. And that was a tight game. Credit to the Sharks. Carolina took care of business. And then a 5-1 drubbing over Seattle, the Seattle Kraken. So three teams that Carolina needs to beat more often than not when they face these teams. And they beat them all three. So not going to fault them. They can't control the quality of their competition early. They can just knock them down as they step up. Now, did you notice those scores, though? 4-1, 2-1, 5-1. They're only giving up a goal a game. Defensively, off to a real nice start. Really, really strong. And their top blue line, their top pairing on the blue line, man, I'm not sure if it's going to be Draisaitl or McDavid that get the bulk of the minutes against this top pairing, but it's Jacob Slavin and Brent Burns. That's a heck of a good top pairing. Slavin is kind of tucked away, hidden down there in Carolina. Such a good defenseman. Plays the game, just has one of the best sticks in the game, one of the better defenders in the game. Can generate offense, smooth skating. This is a really, really good defenseman. I love watching him when Carolina comes to town. And he's paired with that guy, Brent Burns, that old feller. Well, Burns still has lots of game left, averaging over 20 minutes a night so far. Big, rangy, can generate offense. We all know what Brent Burns is, real legit. So whether it's McDavid or Draisaitl, whoever has to gobble up those tough minutes against that D pairing, the other one is going to have to get some offense done. Second pairing, Brady Shea and Brett Pesce. Real good second pairing. Shea's been a good D-man in the league for quite some time now. And then Jalen Chatfield and Dylan Coughlin are the third pairing. So this is a really well-rounded group on the blue line, the Carolina Hurricanes are. And it's going to be a real challenge for the Oilers. This is a critical part in their schedule. I know it's early to say that, but listen, they've only got one win in their first three games, and their competition stiffens up big time. They got these guys. They got the St. Louis Blues a couple of times. They got the Pittsburgh Penguins coming up here. Their next four games, these are not wallflowers that the Oilers are facing. And for a team that's been struggling to find its game at even strength, it's time. You know, and yes, they were better against the Buffalo Sabres, for sure. Probably deserved to win that game based on the number of chances they generated. That was against a very young Buffalo team. Now, experienced groups, Stanley Cup contenders, are rolling through town, and the Oilers are trying to not get too far behind it against really good teams. So let's not underestimate how important this next four games can be for the Oilers. If it goes the wrong way, if you only grab one win, that's a tough start to the season. And these teams are legit. So they know it. Fans certainly know it. Time for them to grab hold of their even strength game and find some of that quality that they had in their game towards the tail end of last season, that consistency. They need to find that, and some of that game that they found in the playoffs, that sense of urgency. I know it's hard to bring conference final urgency to game 4 of the regular season, but bring a bit of it. You need to find it, because these are real good teams that they're going to have to face off against. Okay. I want to get to Evan Bouchard here in the Weiss Johnson sound box. And Weiss Johnson will remind you it's an awesome time of year to look into a furnace for the garage. I'm doing that right now. They're going to come out probably today or tomorrow and give me a quote. Would love to get the garage heated here because the worm has turned on the weather, folks. It is changing. The times are a-changing out there. And I would love for my wife to be able to get in and out of a nice toasty car in the garage. She parks in the garage. And Weiss Johnson's going to help me out with that. And also, as part of their 45-year anniversary, they're giving away and installing a free hot water tank or furnace to a community organization or a charity that is in need. So if you know or work for a charity organization or a community organization that needs a new hot water tank or a new furnace, send them an email, info@weiss-johnson.com, and they're going to pick the winner. And they're going to install a brand new furnace or hot water tank. They also are in search of the oldest furnace in Edmonton, and they'll be replacing that for free as well. So if you just have an old beast, just an old clunker, if you can hear it right now in your basement clunking away, send a picture and some info to info@weiss-johnson.com. And you never know, you might just end up with a brand new furnace. Okay, Evan Bouchard. Appreciate him taking some time to chat yesterday in the locker room after practice. Hasn't been a fantastic start to the year for Evan Bouchard, right? I think we know that. Has played the majority of his minutes at even strength with Ryan Murray. How many minutes here? 24 minutes and 1 second at even strength with Ryan Murray. They've been outscored 4-0 at even strength when they're on the ice together. That's not great, right? Bouchard's supposed to be a guy that pushes the puck up ice and can contribute to the offense. Doesn't have any points yet. Sluggish start in that way, and being outscored 4-0 at evens along with his partner Ryan Murray. And he's also, and he's -4. So, but there are some other elements to his game that I think are coming along. And these are important elements. Maybe they're not elements that are going to help you grab a win night to night to night, every single night. They're not necessarily the difference between winning and losing, but over the long haul, make your group a little bit different to play against. So Evan Bouchard did not have to be a super physical player growing up playing junior, right? He was all offense. We all know that in his early days in the NHL. And he's not being overly physical right now, but I have noticed more of a focus being put on the physical aspects of his game. Stats back it up a little bit here, right? So last season, 80 hits in 81 games. His first year, 11 hits in 14 games. He's got 9 hits in the 3 games that he's played. Small sample size. How meaningful is it? It's something. And I think the Oilers need more of this, in particular on their blue line. But it's not just throwing hits. If you watch that game against Buffalo, there were multiple times where the whistle would blow and there would be players grouped together. And Bouchard took more of an aggressive approach into those situations. If there was pushing and shoving, he pushed back hard. 2 hands on the guy's chest. Shove. Take a step towards him. I know there's not a lot of fighting in the game anymore, and Evan Bouchard doesn't necessarily need to do any fighting, but it's just kind of setting this intention like, no, I'm not going to be a pushover, and we're not going to be pushovers, and you stand your ground, and you even take a little ground. You look a guy in the eyes, and you step towards him with aggressiveness, as opposed to what he did in his first 2 years, whistle blows, head down, and just kind of, exiting the situation. Unless his teammates were getting into it or something, Evan Bouchard would be there to stand in for his teammates. But more often than not, and I'm not even blaming him, it's hard for a young defenseman to come into the league against all these men and physically have the confidence when you've really never had to do a ton of that to stand your ground and stare eye to eye or eye to eye up there at a guy. It's hard to find that confidence as a young blue liner who hasn't had to do that a ton. But he's finding that confidence. There's a little more shove back in his game. And a large segment of the fans listening to this are going to roll their eyes and be like, that matters not. And that's fair. You either think that stuff is important or you don't. I think it matters. And over the course of 82 games, if you have more players that are willing to function that way, I think you're a stiffer team. And I think that matters over the long haul. I actually talked to Evan Bouchard about that. So in conversation here, courtesy Weiss Johnson in the sound box with Oiler defender Evan Bouchard, went over a lot of stuff from standing his ground, throwing some hits, life in the National Hockey League as a, he's not necessarily a young guy anymore. He's not a teenager. He's a homeowner now. Informed me that he knows how to change a light bulb. That's big. We had a laugh about household tasks and chores. So I appreciate Evan Bouchard taking some time here on Got Your Back Short Shift in conversation. Courtesy Weiss Johnson, here's Evan Bouchard. It's not the start you guys were looking for, but it is really, really early on here. What are you guys saying to one another in this room just about kind of keeping it calm and understanding? It's a few games, lots of runway, but at the same time, you do have to take what you're seeing seriously.
Big time. I think it's, I think I mentioned it earlier, it's the full 60 minutes. First game we didn't play, was it 21 first period? Second game, Calgary got up on us 11 minutes in, and kind of a span over 5-10 minutes that Buffalo did the same thing to us. So I think if we can consistently play a 60 minutes, we'll be fine. I think everyone knows that in the room. We know we have the firepower to score. It's just a matter of playing defense, keeping it out of our net.
When you're listening to your coach talk, some of the areas of your game that he thinks were really strong last year was kind of that connection between the forwards and the D. When the D look up, there's a forward right there, not too far away. What would you say about your connectivity this year and maybe how that can help you guys work your way through this?
I think that was a huge part of our game last year, the track and, like you said, the connectivity. I think it's just a matter of confidence and trusting each other, and I think that's the thing. We just got to trust each other. If the guys who do their job, they're going to be there supporting us, and I think once we get that trust down and just believe in each other, then it'll be fine.
I was noticing in your game, and I think it really reared its head in the playoffs. To my eye, you can feel free to disagree, but kind of your ability to stand in, to own that crease area, to shove back, to kind of to get yourself into those greasy areas a little bit. We're seeing it again early on this season. Maybe talk about the evolution of the confidence to play that way for a younger player.
Yeah, it's a big part of the game we want to really focus on is taking care of the crease in front of our net. Making sure that's our ice there. I think that's a big thing that defensive end especially that we need to work on, and that was a big thing in the playoffs. You got to make it tough on them, and if you can do that in the regular season, then come playoff time, it's going to be a step higher, and it's you're going to feel more comfortable doing it. It's
funny for guys that maybe that hasn't been a big part of their game or didn't have to be in junior or whatever, developing that at the NHL level. I imagine it's a little bit tougher. I mean, these are big, strong guys, and it takes a bit for that confidence to come.
Yeah, definitely. It makes it a little easier. You got Dave Manson teaching you a couple of things in front of the net.
Just look at some old tape.
Yeah, exactly. I try not to. He might do it to me. I don't know. But with someone like that helping you out with those kinds of things, it makes it a lot easier for yourself.
I was looking at your minutes. You're down a little bit here. What sorts of things in your game are you working on just to continue to build that trust? And I know you want to be a top 4 guy that locks down one of those top 2 pairing spots. What's the push for you?
I think, like you said, it's all about, you want the coaching staff to trust you, you want your teammates to trust you out there, and you just got to build that trust. And I think, the 6 defensemen we have on the team right now can play, against any line. I think we're comfortable with that. So you got to keep working. Everyone's just got to keep pushing through, whether you're playing the 22 minutes or the 14, 15 minutes.
With the power play, you get some looks with that top unit at times. Obviously, there's a lot of firepower on that unit. Tyson Barrie's gotten quite a bit here recently. Is it a matter of staying patient, waiting for those opportunities, and I just guess trying to take advantage of them when you get out there with that top unit?
Yeah, big time. Like they say, if it's not broken, why fix it, right? And a top unit's been very good for us. They've scored big goals for us, and like you said, being patient even on the second unit when you get the opportunity out there on the power play. It's a privilege. You got to make it count when whether it's 30 seconds or a minute or two.
How do you, a couple years into your NHL career here, how does your life change off the ice? You go from being a young guy that's maybe living in a hotel or a little bit transient to actually settling into life as an adult professional hockey player living in a town. It's got to be different over the last few years.
Yeah, definitely been different. You go from Bakersfield living with teammates and junior living with billets. Now just moved out of a condo this year to a house, and ended up just getting a dog. So we got a puppy, me and my girlfriend. So all my time's really being put towards that and trying to keep him calm.
Being a homeowner is a little different, hey? Like, do you have any sense on how to fix a light if it goes out, or any of those home home type things you got to do?
I can do a light for sure, but other than that, I don't know. I can change the clock on the stove or whatnot.
Wait, so I'm not talking about changing a light bulb. I'm talking about like the switch needs fixing.
Then there's no chance.
No chance?
No. That's why I got a guy's number. I'm gonna call him. I even forgot to switch the gas and power into my name, so that was a change. It ends up going out, and it's like, well, what do I do now? But it's definitely a change, but it's a good change.
I got to ask you about the dog because you mentioned you're getting a dog here, and if I don't ask you, people will be mad. What are you getting? What's the name? What's the drill?
I got a golden retriever named Ollie. I got him last week. He was 9 weeks now, 9 weeks old. But yeah, he's getting bigger and bigger all the time.
You own a lawnmower yet?
No.
You're going to need to buy one. You got a house now.
You sure? It seems like it snows a lot here.
Well, it does, but I mean, if you're here in spring and if you stay here a little later, you're gonna need it.
Yeah, I'll teach the dog to chew up grass or something. I don't know.
No, whippersnipper, lawnmower, snowblower. You got to go out and buy all of it now.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that.
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
All right, and my thanks to Evan Bouchard for taking a few minutes yesterday. I'll head down to the rink today. We'll see what line combinations look like. I think there's a chance it might be an optional skate, so might not learn a ton about it. But it's the Oilers and the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. As we said before, this is an important game for them. This is a really good team that's rolling through town. They haven't found their confidence in their game yet, and so it is time for the Oilers to find a little bit of jam in their game and against a good team like Carolina. They had a good third period against Buffalo. We know that. They got to figure out a way to bring that level of intensity and sense of urgency to a first period tonight, understanding the situation they're in. And it's going to be fascinating to see if they have the ability to do that. Thanks for your downloads and your subscriptions, folks. Really enjoy doing these podcasts. Listen, leave us a review. Head over to Apple. Leave us a review if you don't mind. That always helps us. And let us know what you think. DMs are open on Twitter. We always like hearing from listeners and people who are watching. Reminder, this is available on YouTube. But thanks for your downloads and your subs. We'll be back with a full episode of Got Your Back tomorrow morning. Jason Strudwick, Terry Ryan, Chris Sabunia, our tech out in Kelowna. The whole crew will be back together and looking forward to that. So enjoy the game. Have a great Thursday, and we'll chat with you tomorrow morning. Cheers, folks. Nice manual music fade here.